KSJE is supported by San Juan Regional Medical Center, a community-owned and operated hospital. Here for you when you need us. From emergency care to routine checkups and screenings, caregivers are here and ready to provide the safe, high-quality care you need close to home. Online at sanjuanregional.com with the latest health information and resources to help you live life better here. 10 minutes past 8 o'clock. It is Thursday morning, March the 10th, 2022. Good morning, everyone. I'm Scott Michlin. Thanks for tuning in to KSJE 90.9 FM, of course, over the air here in San Juan County, New Mexico. Everywhere else on the planet, KSJE.com. And, of course, we welcome our viewers because this is a community-supported visual radio station. Our video is streaming out live this morning to the KSJE Facebook page, our YouTube channel, and our Twitter account. We're glad that you were with us this morning, everyone, because there is some weather happening in the area this morning, and we want to share that right away with what's happening and what is the impacts from that weather. Most local school districts are heading to virtual classes only today. Aztec schools, Central Consolidated Schools, and Farmington schools all having a virtual class day today. San Juan College campus is closed, so their online classes are happening as scheduled, and then the individual classes follow kind of their inclement weather policies. But the campus is closed at the moment today. Now, Bloomfield schools are open and operating as normal. We checked in with the superintendent, Dr. Mizell, and she says it's business as usual in Bloomfield, and that may explain the road conditions this morning, because Highway 550 at the Continental Divide south of Bloomfield, as you can see, at least as of maybe about 10 minutes ago, was fairly clear. And so it appears that maybe the weather that's impacting the western part of San Juan County isn't maybe affecting the Bloomfield area. So Bloomfield schools operating as normal today, and we have all the weather conditions and the school closings and delays and impacts on our website, of course, KSJE.com. Now, coming up on the program this morning in the next few moments, we're going to talk about economic development with my guest, Arvin Trujillo. He, of course, is the CEO of Four Corners Economic Development. Lots to update you on this morning, including some of the state's ideas about hydrogen and, of course, the rail project that we talk about often on this program. So I hope you'll stay tuned for that conversation with Arvin Trujillo beginning in the next few moments here on KSJE. Next hour, Mick Hess is going to share with us some light opera on Roving with the Arts. It is the light opera Sally by Jerome Kern. You will hear that today on Roving with the Arts at 9:06 on KSJE. Don't forget, we invite you to connect with us on our Instagram page as well as our Facebook page and YouTube channel and our Twitter accounts. And if you're a podcast person, you can subscribe for free to KSJE Podcasts wherever you listen to podcasts. So check us out, and we hope you'll enjoy that as well. Let's take a look at what the weather is doing in other areas this morning, like Telluride, Colorado. The snow has been falling there for quite a while, as you can see. This picture from just a few moments ago in the Telluride area, and so that's what the situation is like there. 22 degrees at the moment in Telluride. That's their high for the day, with more snow expected. Their low tonight getting down to about 1 degree in Telluride. Forecast here, snow and rain showers throughout the day today as temperatures warm up to about 38 degrees. It's 30 right now outside our studios. More snow in the forecast overnight tonight with a low of 16 degrees. But then tomorrow, sunshine comes out on Friday with a high of 42. 14 Friday night, 47, and sunshine on Saturday. 20 degrees on Saturday night, and then partly sunny skies and warmer yet on Sunday with a high of 54. 55 by Monday, maybe low 60s by Tuesday, and 63 with partly sunny skies on Wednesday. So that is a look at the weather at the moment. And I was about to go to Arvin Trujillo, my guest this morning, but I'm looking and seeing that he is no longer available. So let's see if we can try to get him back here in the next moment or two. Arvin Trujillo from Four Corners Economic Development. I don't hear him anymore. So Arvin, are you still with me? No, it looks like he has gone away. So let me try to reconnect with Arvin right here for a moment, everyone, as we get ready for this morning's program. Let's see if we can do that. Stand by. Well, he is not coming back easily, so let's take a short break, everyone. When we come back, we will do our best to reconnect with my guest, Arvin Trujillo from Four Corners Economic Development this morning on KSJE.
A video game company bought a platform tailored for independent musicians. From American Public Media, this is Marketplace Tech. I'm Kimberly Adams.
Marketplace Tech is supported by Angie, dedicated to helping homeowners care for their home from repair to remodel. Reviews, booking, and more at Angie.com or on the Angie app. And by Aspiration, working to combat climate change with a credit card that helps members go carbon neutral. Aspiration.com/credit. Aspiration Financial LLC.
Video game developer and publisher Epic Games acquired the music platform Bandcamp last week. Epic is a multinational company known for games like Fortnite, and Bandcamp is a relatively small platform where artists sell music and merchandise directly to fans, with a bigger slice of the profits going to those artists. Randall Roberts covers the music industry as a staff writer at the Los Angeles Times. He says Bandcamp has become a favorite among independent musicians, many of which are skeptical about this new deal.
Unlike Spotify, where artists get a fraction of a cent, on Bandcamp, artists get 82% of all sales. Now, these are download sales, and these are vinyl and merchandising sales, but it's a huge difference. And fans get really excited about supporting their favorite artists because they're artists, especially during the pandemic.
And we'll stop there because my guest is back with us remotely this morning. Arvin Trujillo from Four Corners Economic Development is joining me remotely this morning. We got you back, Arvin Trujillo. Glad for that. Good morning.
Good morning, Scott.
Sorry about that. Technology. We love technology when it works for us, don't we?
That's true.
Good to have you with us. So let's get right to it. You had your second breakfast about hydrogen for the community earlier this week, and I wanted to maybe get an update from you on those conversations and what you were talking about. It's my understanding that you maybe heard from some folks who had the opposite view of maybe developing hydrogen in the area. But give us an update if you wouldn't mind.
Yes, we had our second economic briefing on March 8th here at the Civic Center, and it turned out very well. We had about 130 people attend the work session, and we had a number of speakers joining us, and one from Washington, D.C., Mike Moore, who's the program director for U.S. Energy Association. We also had a representative from San Juan Citizens Alliance, Emily Frogen, and myself, County Manager Mike Stark, John Byram, Wish Krishnamurthy, who's with Biotech, and Joe Merlino with Libertad Power. So we had a good panel that gave a broad overview on a number of different topics concerning hydrogen. So it was a really good economic briefing, and I think a lot of people learned a lot during the session.
Very good. Glad to hear it. And I'm sorry that I missed it, but I have this darn radio show in the morning. I miss every breakfast that's held in this community. Gosh darn it. But I wanted to ask you, Arvin Trujillo, because some folks may be a bit confused, maybe like I have been a little bit, because we were paying attention to the legislative session, and all the bills that were introduced about hydrogen seemed to not have gone anywhere or didn't get passed, and yet we're still talking about this. And so maybe can you explain to us a little bit why we're still talking about this? I guess there are other efforts underway in regards to hydrogen that doesn't necessarily involve the state legislature. Is that the right takeaway?
Yes. Basically what happened, Scott, was New Mexico was looking at how we could begin to look at funding and how do we begin to look at organizing ourselves, looking at possibly being just a state with the efforts of moving forward with a hydrogen hub. But since that time, the governor has signed a memorandum of understanding along with the governors from the state of Colorado, Utah, and Wyoming. And they have thus formed a Western States hydrogen hub. And so given that, what we're looking at now is participating with these other states and organizing ourselves, looking at how do we want to proceed forward as a collaborative here for the western portions of the U.S.
Understood. And the reason this is all being talked about now, Arvin Trujillo, is because there's some federal dollars available to help develop these types of infrastructure for this new, kind of brand new type of industry, isn't it?
Well, it is. Basically, what's happening right now is a move to see how we can transition away from carbon-based fuels. And one of the areas that's being looked at right now extensively is hydrogen, because of the electricity that it can generate through its fuel cells, and the amount of power, and also the fact that you're not needing to recharge at a shorter time than we see with electrical vehicles. And so again, looking at this possibility, the federal government is moving forward to see what do we need to do to transition our economy from a carbon-based energy economy to a hydrogen-based energy economy. And to achieve that, the federal government is willing to invest at least $8 billion with anywhere from 4 to 8 hydrogen hubs throughout the country, looking at a whole venue of opportunities from generation to electrical generation to distribution to supply chain development to transportation, and to looking at the end product development utilizing hydrogen. So it's a big endeavor, and again, we're now partnering with other states to see if we can become very competitive and see if we could get a hub here in the western portions of the U.S.
Got you. And of course, I think to be fair, we should point out some of the critics of hydrogen. There are two types of hydrogen that are being discussed, to my understanding. One is called blue hydrogen, one is called green hydrogen. It's the blue hydrogen, I understand, that might be more interested in this area because that may involve the use of natural gas, but some of the environmental folks would say, we don't want to use natural gas to create hydrogen with this new technology. We would rather support a green hydrogen project. Is that still the correct analysis there?
Yes. Again, there are concerns, and it was good to have Ms. Frojan come and be a part of the discussion. She brought up the fact that, again, looking at you're correct. There's hydrogen that right now they're designating as green hydrogen that's utilizing water and electricity through a process called electrolysis to break the bonds between the hydrogens and the oxygens, and by that fashion produce hydrogen. There's another process using steam and high pressure that then you feed natural gas into that, and the chemical processes will then redistribute those hydrogens that are connected to the carbons in your natural gas, and will free those hydrogens up, and then the oxygen that's in there with the water would then combine with the carbon to eventually produce carbon dioxide. And so again, we have folks who are concerned about the drilling aspects of that. They're concerned about the carbon capture piece of it. They're not convinced that we are in a position to really move forward with that. And again, also looking at some of the transportation aspects. It's been noted that hydrogen will make metal brittle. And so again, that could become an issue with pipelines. And so again, a lot of concerns about some of these areas here. And Ms. Frojan was able to bring up a number of those areas. And so again, what we're looking at is seeing how do we begin to move forward in this possibility, understanding some of the concerns that are out there and making sure that everybody understands what we have here, because what was also explained during the process, during the meetings, was that no matter what kind of energy process you look at, there are pros and cons with each of them. And so we just have to kind of look at that and see how do we want to mitigate, and what's the overall goal looking forward as we look at hydrogen, and then as we continue to deal with carbon and issues with global warming.
Very good. And I know, too, from my conversations with Biotech, which has signed a MOU here with San Juan College to create some training programs in the hydrogen industry, they're saying that, the only way we're going to get off of carbon types of transportation fuels is maybe through using some type of hydrogen to propel semi-trucks and other long-distance transportation that can't be powered maybe by gasoline if we're trying to get away from diesel and other types of carbon-based fuels. And so that's been their argument as well, that hydrogen could be this kind of bridge transportation fuel as we move into the future.
Yeah, and again, Scott, we're in that process of seeing how do we transition. How do we move into a new type of fuel source? And really, there's still a lot of work that needs to be done with electrolysis. And what a lot of people are looking at is the fact that as we begin to transition, natural gas may be that vehicle by which we can eventually transition. Again, research and development continues to move forward. Where we'll be 10, 15 years from now, we don't know. I mean, think about 10, 15 years ago where we were in terms of telecommunications, in terms of transportation, in terms of a number of these different areas. And again, we're not sure where things are going to go, but we have to begin to transition. And this seems to be a way for us to do that and to continue our efforts to produce power and to find ways to minimize the emissions of carbon dioxide as we continue with our everyday life and minimize those footprints developed.
Right, understood. And so that is kind of the ongoing conversations, right, with this federal investment in hydrogen. And as these states compete, I suppose, for those federal dollars. And so what you're saying is that New Mexico has joined with some other western states to try to increase our attractiveness with this federal funding. And that's where we are at the moment, even without the support at the moment of the state legislature.
That's correct. And again, looking at this as we gain more traction and as we gain more information, we may be able to bring the state legislature into bring them into this process and see how they might be able to assist us and support this effort. Because again, we're looking at $8 billion, but there's going to be requirements for matching dollars with this. And again, we'll have to work with the other states to figure out how do we proceed down this path. And again, the hub allows us to look at all different areas, not just generation, but end users. How do we work with them? How do we work with transportation? How do we work with workforce development and transitioning in those areas? So there's a lot of work that has to be done, and having the 4 states together kind of broadens the field, brings other metropolitan areas into play so that, again, as we begin to generate things, we're also having end users that could utilize this new power source for their needs.
Right. And again, I don't want to leave out the natural gas industry. We know San Juan Basin is a natural gas basin. There's a lot of active wells still here, and so obviously to be able to use natural gas in this process gets a lot of local interest from the industry that has already been here for a number of years, a number of decades, to maybe try to see how they could use their resources to in this new potentially future industry, being some type of a hydrogen creation from the use of natural gas, right?
That's correct. And again, as we've looked at natural gas development, we've seen improvements in the technology. We're looking at vertical drilling and what that has entailed so that we don't have all these vertical wells located all over the place. We can, the horizontal drilling, we can utilize that to obtain the necessary products that we need. The technology in fracking has been improving. Disposal well locations, all of these things have been worked on. And again, we're getting better at doing the necessary work so that we can meet the production needs that we're looking at. But we can also be very conscious about the environmental as well as the surface concerns as it deals with natural gas. And again, it's an opportunity to continue this type of research to move forward in our technology in those areas and still see the benefits, because as you're well aware, because of what we have a skilled labor force here in the area that continue this effort. We've got plant knowledge and plant operations should we begin to look at generation development here. So we've got a lot of pluses here in the San Juan Basin to move forward in this new energy field.
Very good. My guest this morning, Arvin Trujillo, is with me. He is the CEO of Four Corners Economic Development. We are talking about the second breakfast that was held for local community members to talk about hydrogen as an industry and some of the incentives and opportunities and also some of the concerns about the hydrogen industry. And so, Arvin, you've had two breakfasts, and I think that was the most that you had scheduled so far. But what's next in regards to hydrogen? Are you still going to be watching this develop? And will there be maybe some more breakfasts or other meetings for the community as maybe things move forward?
There will most likely be more meetings as we move forward with this effort. And just for our listeners' benefit, they can go into our website, www.4cornersed.com. We recorded the first breakfast that we had. And the way we put that together is the agenda followed a number of questions that we thought of that were being asked by community members. And so if you go into the portal there or the subpage, you'll see the slide deck. We have the slide deck available. And then you can go and you can watch the whole video if you choose. It's about an hour and a half video. Or if you want to look at specific questions that were asked, you can point to those questions on the minute, and the video will move immediately to that question, and you can listen to that section of the video. We'll be doing the same thing with the hydrogen, the second meeting that was completed on March 8th. So viewers and listeners will be able to go to our website and listen and watch the meetings that were held and gain the information that was obtained during those sessions. And again, to answer your question, we're right in the middle of working with the New Mexico State University in the development of obtaining information to move forward on how the Department of Energy will look at their proposals. And so we've developed that relationship, and we're going to be working with New Mexico State, us as well as San Juan College, to move forward with that effort. And as things begin to materialize, as we move forward with that, we will definitely be keeping the community informed as to what's happening and how things are progressing.
Very good. Well, and I know you'll keep me informed too, because I get you on the show every month, and I'm really pleased that we're able to do that. So thank you for that. The other topic we wanted to touch base on this morning was the rail project, the idea of a rail spur into San Juan County, and there's a meeting coming up, or if it hasn't happened already, there's another meeting coming up, right? A significant one.
Yeah, yes, we had our kickoff meeting on March 2nd. We had the engineering firm that the county has on contract now. They're HDR Engineering. We had key members of the county in that meeting along with the Navajo Nation. We also had HDR as well as the New Mexico Department of Transportation. And so again, that meeting was kind of a kickoff and an introductory meeting. We went through some basic areas that we want to begin to work on. Our first objective is to get a work plan together that will be then presented to the Federal Railroad Administration for their approval. HDR is very well versed in greenfield railroad development, so they understand this whole process. So they'll be working with us, gaining information, and from that information, developing an overall work plan. They're anticipating having that done by the middle of next month. We'll be working with them to achieve that, and from there, they'll be able to. We'll be able to determine at that point how long it'll take us to do this feasibility work. They're anticipating anywhere from 12 to 15 months to locate where we want to recommend a route to be, where the transloading location will be, where do we tie in to the I-40 rail line, and then what kind of compliance work will be needed, and start looking at estimations on costs, on what it would cost to build the rail. And so again, we're really excited about everything that's happening right now, and looking forward to continue to work with this engineering group to help lead us down this path and develop a plan that we can then begin to focus on and complete so that we can move to the next phase of this whole project, which would be getting investors and looking towards construction of this rail.
Very good. So it sounds like everything's on schedule, so to speak, right?
Everything is moving on schedule at this point. We're really excited about the way things are progressing.
Very good.
We're going to be looking at two different types of aspects to this, Scott. One is going to be looking at the actual project, really focusing on the project, the route, the right-of-ways, the necessary NEPA compliance work, etc., the costs, getting into all those estimations together. The other side of that is going to be focused on community outreach, making sure that we're speaking to the communities, both tribal and non-tribal, keeping them informed about what's happening, helping them to understand what we're doing and what's being developed, and looking at opportunities for all our communities to participate in the benefits of having rail from San Juan County to the Gallup area, because again, having that connection there will open up markets throughout the country for this area. So we're really excited about this development.
Very good. Well, Arvin, we just have a couple of minutes remaining, and I wanted to ask you if there's your thoughts on some of the legislation that was passed by the state legislature, and the governor has been signing things into law, specifically the idea to waive the tax on Social Security benefits for retirees under a certain income, and the other one would be this free college initiative for New Mexicans, our state, the first in the nation to adapt such a wide-ranging type of a program. I would think both of these might have some economic development benefits from these types of legislation. What do you think?
Well, again, having the taxes moved away from a certain sector of our retirees really would be a benefit, because that would help us attract more retirees here to the state. And again, that there are a lot of benefits to that. And so that I see as a real positive. You know, looking at the tuition also, there are positives there, but again, I'm kind of waiting to see how that all is going to be developed as we look forward into the future. You know, is this a program that will be sustained? How do we work this through? How does this fit with the lottery scholarships that are in place right now? There are a lot of companies out there that are asking questions about scholarships, saying, do we need to do scholarships anymore? So again, we're kind of at this point still evaluating what this effort is going to do and what's the overall plan as we look at paying for tuition for students. That's a positive, really, to help with our workforce. But again, the idea coming back, is this sustainable? And what are the plans for this looking down the road? But we're keeping an eye on that, but we see some real good benefits coming from both of these.
Very good. Sounds positive to me. And as the details get worked out, I'm sure we'll be learning more about all these things and much more from the legislative session. So very good. Well, that means that you'll be back next month to guide us through it, I hope, Arvin Trujillo.
Well, we'll be looking at things, and we'll be real happy to share whatever information we have looking at economic development and really helping our region here.
Very good. Well, Arvin, I really appreciate you being with me despite the weather, and stay safe and well, and we'll talk to you again in April.
Okay, then. Thank you very much, Scott.
You're welcome. That's Arvin Trujillo, the CEO of Four Corners Economic Development, my guest this morning right here on KSJE. KSJE and San Juan College present the Student Success Coaching Tip of the Week.
Hello, it's me, M&Chi, from the Student Achievement Center. We're bringing you Week 8 of Coaching Tips of the Week. Midterm tips. The best students pre-learn what they're going to cover in class, often by reading over their textbooks, then taking great notes in class, and finally reviewing all of the materials after class. That may sound like a lot, but it's more effective than cramming for long days and nights before exams. Whether it's math or history, retyping, or at least tidying up and annotating your notes from class is a great way to clarify concepts and help material sink in. Return frequently to previously covered concepts to keep them fresh and utilize them as you are progressing. As you build connections between concepts, you broaden your understanding of the material. Nothing beats flashcards as a study tool, and they are an easy way to notate important concepts for future studying and review. If you don't understand something, address it immediately. Go to office hours, work with a friend, meet with a tutor. Nothing derails learning like building on a shaky foundation.
The Student Success Coaching Tip of the Week, presented by KSJE and the Student Achievement Center at San Juan College.